Welcome to Getting Started with Business Intelligence for MYOB. Today we're going to look through some of the simple features that we have to change your reports and get your data in a different way. Firstly, we'll look at rows. Use Analyze By to change rows. Drill down. Use the Then By to drill down right down to detailed transactions. Sorting. Use Order By to sort your data. Subtotals. Use Group By to subtotal your data. Date ranges. We use words like this year and this month to set the default date ranges. Filters. Use text filters or numeric filters to really focus your attention. Top 10. View by top 10 or 20, again to keep you really focused. Now let's look at this inside the app. Your business intelligence software runs on the cloud, which means to access it, you just need to go to any browser and log in via our website. Once you do that, you'll get the login screen. You can just save this login screen to a bookmark to make the login process easier. Once you log in, you'll be presented with our standard pre-built dashboards and favourites. These are just to get you started. But we know that you'll want to change these, tailor them to your own needs. But we do give them to you to begin with, as I said, just to get you started. I'm going to first look at sales reports. So to narrow down this long list of favourites here, I'm going to click on the category Sales. And now I've only got sales-related reports here. The first one I'm going to look at is Margin by Customer. It's a simple analyze type report. It looks like a little spreadsheet there. We click through. The very first thing we want to look at is what kind of rows of data we've got here. This report is looking at all item sales data, not just customers. So to change the rows, we just need to click on the Analyze By. We might want to see sales by state. We might want to change the rows to see the items that were sold. We may want to change it to see sales by salesperson. Now look, there's a lot of sales here that have got a dot. That means there's no salesperson on them. Later on in this presentation, I'll show you how you can investigate what those transactions are. So simply to change the rows that you want to see in a report, click on the Analyze By. Supplier is always a good one, not just looking at what's selling by supplier, but how much gross margin you're receiving from products from each supplier. I'm going to go back right to the beginning. I could go back, but I've got a breadcrumb here that's followed me all the way along. So I want to go back right to the beginning, margins by customer. The next thing we're going to look at is the drill down sequence. We call that Then By. So Analyze By sets our rows. Then By is what happens when we drill down. This report is set to drill down into items, which means if I click on Cameron James, it will now be filtered for Cameron James, but now show I'm analysing by the items that were sold to Cameron James. This is interesting. Even though the overall margin for Cameron James is 57%, we've got some items selling at a loss. I wonder what they are. The next drill down, Then By, is going right down to detail, which is right down at the invoice transaction level. So if I click through on steel stands, I now am analysing right down at the detail. Invoice number, I've got an invoice number and I've got a date, the customer, the item number, and I go all the way across. I can see he bought 2, sold them at $69, but the cost was $72. So I might want to investigate that one. find out what was the problem. You can either print this out, or sometimes I find it easy just to send email now. Email it to myself and it'll be sitting in my in tray, or email it to someone else and ask them to investigate. Again, let's go right back to the top, back to the beginning. So we've got analyse by rows, then by is drill down. Our next option is order by. We can order by any of these fields, and it depends on which report you're in as to what fields you'll get. So we might want to order by margin percentage, ascending or descending. We might, if you've got a lot of data, you might want to order by total sales. Another quick way of ordering is just click on the column heading, and that will also order. It's very easy, I know, when you've only got 5 customers, but I'm sure you've got hundreds, if not thousands. So ordering your data can be really important. What's also really handy is the next feature, which is group by. We use the word group by to subtotal things. Again, if you've got hundreds and hundreds of customers, just having them all in alphabetical order is going to be of no use. Putting them into some kind of grouping makes more sense. What if you could see your customers subtotaled by state? You've now got a list of customers in that state to talk to, visit, promote to, etc. But you've also got a total here by each state. What if we looked at customers subtotal by the customer sales rep? Customer sales rep is the salesperson name on the customer card. So that's a good one to set up once when you set the customer up, and you don't have to allocate the sales rep again. That customer belongs to that sales rep. But this is interesting. We've got Mary Jones and Alan Long with a customer, but we've got 3 customers here that don't have a customer sales rep. So remember before where we had a dot? That's because there's no customer sales rep there. What you need to do is go to each of those customers and allocate a sales rep to them. So you've also got custom lists within MYOB, and that's a way of you setting up ways of grouping your customers together in some way that makes sense for you. You may have customers many customers that form part of a buying group. That's a great one to put them together by. You may have customers that are wholesale or retail. You might want to call those customer types, because you might find that the margins are different in those type 2 businesses, or the pricing that you give them, the volumes, the marketing strategy, etc. So I'll have a separate section on setting up custom lists within MYOB, but you can set them up for customers. You can set them up for items, so brands might be a good one. Find out which brands are being bought by each customer. So I'm subtotaling by brand, and I've got customer there. I'm going to go back up to the breadcrumb, right to the beginning again. The next thing I want to look at is date ranges. Most of our favourites are set using the standard this year date range. And this year, your admin user can set this up on the organisation tab when they log in to be related to your financial year. So if you're not a 30 June year, you're some other year end, you can set that up on your organisation tab. So most of our reports pick up for the whole of the year, which could be good, but I know that many of you might just want to look at this month or this quarter, this week, last month, year to date this year, year to date last year. Year to last month is often a good one if you're trying to close off your accounting because you want to lock it in as at the end of July, August, September, whatever the end of last month is. The good thing about using one of these date ranges is that you just set it and you set it once. If you set it to year to last month, it'll always be the last month. So as soon as you hit the 1st of September, the last month will be August, and same month after month after month. Particularly good if you're setting reports up to automatically email, because you're not going to be in there fixing the dates each time. So if you change the dates on a report, we've also got some great rolling ones as well, which will give you a rolling 12 months. If you change the dates on a report, then you just need to save this as a new favourite. Okay. Filters is another way of really focusing your attention. So just as we clicked on one of these customers and drilled through that set of filter, you can set filters using the little funnel icon here. And depending on the mapping and the report mapping you're in will determine what filters you can set. You can set a combination of these. So just for item sales, you can see numerous customer-related, invoice-related, item-related, ship to, supplier, etc. Many, many. So a good one, for example, would be the customer sales rep. You may just want to pick up customers that belong to Mary Jane. Or you might want to say, I want all customers except for the ones that are Mary Jane. Click Done. That's now set a filter for everything that's not Mary Jones. And we can check that by just changing our rows to see what's here. So there's Peter Parker, Alan Long, and these ones have yet to have a customer sales rep on them. So these filters, and to turn off that filter, simply click the cross, and Mary Jones now appears. You can have filters for a number of different things. So you might want to filter on a particular brand. Let's pick 2 brands. So they're the ones that we've selected. So we're just going to see Esky and Home Brand. Remember, these are custom lists that you would have set up. And we just want for the state of New South Wales. Remember to go down, click Done. And how do we check that it's just New South Wales? We can say, let's have a look at the brands, analyse by brand, and let's just subtotal by customer state just to double check that there's nothing else in there. No, it's just New South Wales sales of Home Brand and Esky Brand. In the filters, we call these text-based filters, names, etc., etc. But if you go right down to the bottom, we can also set some numeric filters. These are great for finding exceptions, problems, and setting alerts. My favourite one is looking for low margins. So where the margin is below 10%, for example. I'm going to just run that. I've still got New South Wales and Esky Brand. I'll just delete those filters. So we can see we've got a result here where the margin is less than 10%. That's by brand, but often you might want to look at this right down at the detail level. Again, we've got a customer state here as our subtotal. We can turn off the subtotal, and we can see we've got 3 invoices here that are below below 10%. Finally, I'm going to go back to the top again. Oops, I've still got that filter on. I just need to turn that filter off. And it's appearing nothing here because we've got no customers that are below 10%. At the individual transaction level we do, but not at the customer. Right back to the beginning and Mary Jane. Turn that filter off. So we're back to the beginning. Remember, I've changed the date range. I've got a rolling 12 months now, so the numbers will be a little bit different. But I can also, at the moment I've been looking at everything as all, customers by all, but this is where I can set top 5, top 10, etc. So it will list our top 5 customers and then put the rest in an other, so we can still see our total sales, but then focusing on our top 5. Again, we can sort. So hopefully that was useful.